Another in my series of videos on why Jewish apologetics is so bad. This is Aryeh Weinstein presenting undeniable proof that Judaism is the only true religion. It feels like we're coming in the middle of a conversation here, but let's see where we go with it.
Most important incident is one incident, and that is that they experience God speaking to Moses at Sinai. That means the entire Jewish people hear God speaking to Moses at Sinai.
Okay, that's a claim from Deuteronomy. Tell me why I should believe it.
That's what's important. That's called revelation. Okay? The details, okay, we can talk about the details, but there's one thing we know happened.
How do we know it happened?
That every Jew knows, right? And that is, that's what Moses is telling them. You experienced, right, God speaking to me at Sinai. You heard God. You heard those words, right? Now, to say that to people is like me telling you, last night, right, last week, Monday night, you were here in the class. You heard God. It wasn't me. It was God, right? You'd never walk back in here. Guaranteed. I mean, if you would, you're really crazy.
Crazy to be there in the first place, if you ask me.
Well, it depends how Jewish you are. Yeah.
Did they hear the speech so they could comprehend what the speech was?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
the sound, because the text says...
It says both. It says words and sounds. So they experienced the inexperienceable by a human being is essentially what the Torah is telling us. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, Rabbi. Thanks for that.
Beyond our comprehension.
Okay. And they also heard comprehensible words that God said to Moses.
According to Deuteronomy, not Exodus.
Okay? The only way, let me say this. Yeah, before we continue with Mount Sinai, with the present theory, let's go back to the past theory for a minute, because that's what everything else is built, all other religions and cults are built on. Okay? And again, I want to be clear about something. I have no purpose or value in minimizing any other religions. I do have great purpose and value in every single Jew valuing Judaism and understanding the value of it. Truth, okay, is not being nice and hiding the facts.
Good. Let's not hide the facts.
In order to make other people more comfortable. Okay? That continues to make sure everyone continues to remain uncomfortable. We have to speak what is actually true. And this is not like any gross revelation that I'm saying here.
Okay, what is actually true about Sinai, and how do you know 3,000 years later? Let's hear how much you really care about what is actually true.
I am just saying what every other religion will acknowledge about their religion. And that is that essentially they are all founded on a single individual making a claim.
I don't believe you've investigated every single religion. You can't tell me you've studied every form of paganism the world has ever known and determined that they were founded by a single person making a claim of revelation. I thought you just said something about being concerned about what is actually true.
I'm not here to make a statement about whether it's right, whether it happened or didn't happen. I'll let you make that decision. I really am not making a statement about it. I don't need to make a statement about that, okay? I am saying it's about a person who claims something happened, and then it's a matter of whether people want to follow this person and believe their claim or not, okay? And that's the reason why they use past theory as opposed to present theory, because that's the only possible chance that people will actually believe in the person. But even in past theory, okay? If I say that there was a revelation at Mount Sinai 3,000 years ago, we forgot about it for whatever reason, and I am coming to tell you that, I'm going to call myself Fred, because this will help you understand one of the readings here.
Oh, great. So it's Rabbi Kellerman's Fred again. You can see my video on Rabbi Kellerman's talk if you want to know more about Fred.
Okay? So Mr. Fred comes and tells you that, by the way, I want to tell you what actually happened to our ancestors, which everyone sort of fell to the wayside and everyone forgot about, right?
You realize this is exactly what King Josiah does in 2 Kings chapter 22, right?
Let's say I come and tell you that. What is going to be the first question that you're going to ask me? How do I know?
No, you're not going to ask that because Josiah is the king and you are not. And Josiah just killed all the priests that worshipped other gods. So, You are not going to ask anything. You are an illiterate farmer, and you want to keep your head down so you can keep your head.
Question number one. What's the next question you're going to ask me? Which is a very important question. How do I know? And I'm not sure what I'm going to say yet. But right, I'm not going to say God revealed himself to me, right? Which is the way all religions are founded.
No, Josiah does this by stating that his scribe or priest found a lost scroll of the Torah. Come on, you do know this story, right?
Or it was been passed down secretly, which sounds to me very suspicious.
Yes, it might to you, being a modern person, but if you are an illiterate farmer in ancient Judah, and the king's top priests and scribes and prophets tell you that this is totally legit, and you'll be dead if you don't agree, you might just say, okay.
Right? Evidence. And why didn't anyone else hear of this?
Because, as Josiah says, they rebelled against God and forsook his teaching. Next question. How are we doing so far?
Why are you so special that only you heard of this?
Because I'm the king and only my priests have access to the temple. If the scroll was buried on your farm, maybe you would have found it, but it wasn't. Any more great questions?
Right? These are very, very obvious questions.
And the king just answered them all. So, are we done?
Let's go to the last paragraph in text number 4. It is simply, here is a psychological rule.
I guess we're done because it seems like the video just jumped to a new topic.
Here is a psychological rule.
Oh, great. A psychological rule. What are the chances you're just pulling this out of your tuchas?
Okay? Again, if you want to, this is all from the Build Your Religion handbook. Yeah. Okay? There's a psychological rule about getting people to believe something, especially when talking about nations and communities, to believe something. And that is, the claim has to be something that the listener would expect.
Yeah, great rule.
I'm sorry, the claim cannot be about something that the listener would expect to have been aware of previously.
Okay, which psychologist developed this rule? Does the rule have a name?
If it's something that the listener would have expected to have known previously, right, and they didn't, that's an indication that it didn't happen.
Or it's an indication that you are an illiterate farmer and you don't know as much as you think you know. I mean, if I went up to a Jewish person and said, hey, did you know that the Jews routinely use the temple in Jerusalem to worship pagan gods? They might say, no way, I would totally have known about something like that. But that doesn't mean it isn't true. I mean, it might not be true, but it's as true as anything else we know about the temple. So this psychological rule seems like not a real rule. The fact that someone ignorant doesn't know something doesn't mean that thing is not true. Ignorant people often think they know everything. That might even be the very definition of ignorance.
In other words, the second you tell me something that I should have known had it happened, and I don't know, I won't trust you.
Why not? I'm the king, and you're a farmer. I have educated scribes who can read and write. I have priests. I have a temple. I have prophets who speak directly to God. So why wouldn't you trust me? And to sweeten the deal, I can also execute you if I feel like you're going to be trouble.
Until I have more evidence.
You are an illiterate Iron Age farmer. You are never going to get more evidence than the king's scribes, priests, and prophets have already provided. At that point, if you don't believe, you are just a troublemaker.
So if Fred's going to come and tell us, Jews, I'm here to tell you that God revealed to me, or that I have a secret document from my ancestors that tell me that there was a revelation at Sinai over 3,000 years ago.
Well, it would have been more like 1,000 years ago in Josiah's time.
Everyone's going to say that's something I should have known.
Read 2 Kings. Is that what everyone says? No.
I'm a Jew just like you. Why is it only your parents knew about it? Or why did God only come to you?
That's the reason no one says that. In the ancient world, you don't go to the king and say, what's so special about you, unless you have a desire to be promptly executed.
And that's going to be we're going to be very suspect of that person.
So that was just terrible. You just conjured up almost the very scenario related in 2 Kings chapter 22, and then told everyone something like that could never happen. Well, according to the Bible, it did happen. So what are you going to do with that? You said before you're interested in what is actually true. So, is the narrative in 2 Kings true? If it is, then what part of your presentation was true? Bad apologetic.